Valencia, Spain, Marc Marquez took his sixth world title and his fourth in the Premier class in a tense and stunningly dramatic showdown, despite a huge front-end moment into turn 1 and a run-off track, finishing third to clinch his title defense. Title rival Andrea Dovizioso had a similar run-off while running fourth, but was unable to save it and crashed out of contention for the race and title. South Africa's Brad Binder, meanwhile, kept the South African flag proudly flying with a third consecutive podium finish in MotoGP. Marc Marquez celebrates becoming the youngest ever 6 times world champion and the youngest to take 4 Premier class titles. Picture, MotoGP.com. MotoGP. The race came down to a duel between Honda teams Dani Pedrosa and Yamaha Tech 3 rider Johann Zarco, with the outcome decided on the final lap as Pedrosa pounced and defended to perfection for his second win of the season. Marquez got the whole shot from pole, with teammate Pedrosa slicing through from the second row to take over in second, and Zarco pushed down to third. Dovizioso made a good start to move up to sixth, then passed Andrea Dovizioso, Suzuki, and all over the tail of Ducati teammate Jorge Lorenzo. Zarco took over the lead early on, with Marquez slotting into second as Pedrosa held third, with the two Ducatis glued together about a second further adrift behind. After a mistake by Zarco, a Marquez pass and a Zarco comeback, Marquez saw his chance to dive through for the lead and ran wide. Sliding on his knee for a stunning save into turn 1. He headed for the gravel, but pulled off a near-miracle save and rejoined behind Dovizioso. Lorenzo then upped the pace to chase down Pedrosa and Zarco ahead, but went down suddenly. And just as suddenly, the dream was over for his teammate. A run-off into the gravel that couldn't be saved saw Dovizioso's title hopes disappear, leaving him to take the runner-up spot. At the start of the final lap, Pedrosa tucked in and then pounced into turn 1, managing to hold off Zarco around a tight circuit Ricardo Tormo to take his second victory of 2017. Marquez, promoted to the third podium spot by the falls ahead of him, kept calm to the end to take third in the title, making him the youngest ever 6 times world champion and the youngest to take 4 Premier class championships. Alex Rins, Suzuki, put in an impressive rookie ride into fourth, ahead of Valentino Rossi, Yamaha, after a difficult race. Iannin dropped back slightly after a run-off at turn 1 to take sixth, ahead of a great final race with Jack Miller in seventh. Honda privateer Cal Crutchlow moved up after crashing out in Q1 and qualifying outside the top 10 to cross the line 8th. With Ducati test rider Michel Perot putting in another solid wildcard appearance to come home 9th, while Tito Rabat, Honda, also impressed, rounding out the top 10. Results. Points after 18 of 18 rounds. MotoGP2. Miguel Oliveira made it a stunning 3 in a row for KTM, hunting down champion Franco Morbidelli and pulling away to win by 2.154 seconds, while teammate Brad Binder made it another double podium for KTM in third, making his third consecutive visit to the rostrum. Morbidelli and teammate Alex Marquez made the running into turn 1, with Marquez taking an early lead before Morbidelli was able to battle through and take over, leaving a 3-way scrap for second between Marquez, Macha Pacini and Oliveira before Pacini suddenly crashed out. Marquez then held firm ahead of Oliveira for a number of laps before the KTM teammates were able to press home the attack. Oliveira then set about chasing Morbidelli for the win. With 7 laps to go, Oliveira had his KTM glued to the Morbidelli's KLX, and on the following lap he dived through into the lead at turn 4, leaving the newly crowned champion was forced to follow him home. Binder completed the podium, while Rookie of the Year Francesco Bagnaia debated 4th with Hafiz Syahrin for 5th, before pulling away from the Malaysian rider and then catching and passing Marquez. Takaki Nakagami said goodbye to the intermediate class ahead of his graduation to MotoGP with 7th, ahead of a solid final rookie ride for Fabio Quartararo. Simone Corsi, speed up, crossed the line 9th, after making some late progress, with Dominique Suter completing the top 10. Results. Moto3. Honda privateer Jorge Martin took a stunning maiden win, launching into the lead from his 9th pole position of the year and pulling away at the front. More than 3 seconds further back, newly crowned champion Joan Mir put in the ride of his life for second, recovering from the tail end of the top 20 to reach the podium in his final Moto3 appearance. Marcos Ramirez, KTM, completed the podium, just unable to overtake Mir in the final sector, but within 0.11 second at the flag. Martin got the whole shot from pole with Gabriel Rodrigo, KTM, slotting into second, but the Argentinian rider then slid out early and left the pole sitter out front, and Joan Mir off track as the new champion was forced to avoid the fallen rider ahead of him. Martin's gap was then more than 2 seconds to the chasing group behind, with the battle for seconds seeing a squabble break out, enabling him to take further advantage and pull clear. There was sudden drama in that battle soon after as Martin's teammate Fabio Di Giannantonio clipped Ramirez on the start-finish straight, but Ramirez was able to stay clear of the traffic as he fell and wasn't hurt. Mir was on the fight back, having moved up from 19th to 11th within a handful of laps, but then with more than 2 seconds to make up to reach the top 10. By 5 to go, Mir was in second and starting to cut the gap to leader Martin, but there just weren't enough laps, as Martin pulled a wheelie over the line to convert pole into victory. Behind Ramirez it was an Italian battle for fourth as Romano Fenati just beat fellow Honda rider Enea Bastianini in the former's last Moto3 appearance, ahead of Juanfran Guevara, KTM, reigning Moto3 junior world champion Dennis Foggia, KTM, in a wildcard appearance at the circuit. He dominated at junior level, another stunning slice through the field from John McPhee, Honda, on his final outing with the BTT squad. Reigning Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup champion in wildcard Kazuki Masaki, Honda, completed the top 10 behind local hero Aaron Canet, Honda.